Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are trying something new today. My boyfriend got these little microphones, so I hope it works. Let's hope it works. I think it's working, so we're just going to start my third video, which is all about pelvic floor physical therapy and maybe a little bit about dilators. But I feel like we're going to start that in episode 4 because I feel like that's a pretty big topic or thing to discuss. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about my own personal experience I had at physical therapy. This may be completely different from yours, but I just want to share, my experience. If you have attended PT and would like to share yours in the comments below, please do. I highly encourage you to do so anyone watching this can read or watch my video. So let's get started. So in my journal, I just quickly wrote down some quick pros and cons I'm going to go over before we get started. Then I can dive deeper into those as the video goes on. Starting with the pros is I learned a lot of great information about my body, the muscles that make up the pelvic floor, and just about vaginismus in general. I learned different stretches or breathing exercises that helped me understand my body on a deeper level. It helped me see that I am not the only woman in the world living with this condition, which is extremely comforting and helpful. And then I got an introduction to dilators and what those are. And then for the cons, I just have, it was quite expensive. It is something that is very intimate. If you do in-person PT like I did, it was just lots of hands-on with my PT. So just be prepared for that. I wrote getting naked, comfortable, comfort level. So I think that just depends how comfortable you feel with your PT. I feel like I lucked out because my physical therapist was only about 4 years older than me. She was a woman. She's very chatty. We had lots of things in common. So going to visit her once a week, once every 2 weeks was actually it was like therapeutic in a way, not like normal therapy. But yeah, we got along really great. So I think that is something that's very important for you to take note of. If your first appointment you don't connect with your physical therapist very well, I'd say maybe try a different place or a different therapist there, because that is very, very important in my eyes. One of the biggest and most important things my PT really stressed and had me work on was different kind of poses or stretches to help open my hips and stretch out those muscles in my pelvic floor area and around. So those included stretches, I'll put pictures of them up here, including happy baby, a deep squat, cat-cow, figure 4, and child's pose. With this, she told me to do each for about 2 or so minutes and to work on something called belly breathing. I am just going to read something quickly off of Google so I don't absolutely butcher it. It says belly breathing is a technique that involves using the diaphragm muscles to inhale and exhale. When you inhale, your diaphragm contracts and moves downward, creating space for your lungs to expand. When you exhale, your diaphragm relaxes and moves upward, pushing the air out of your lungs. The benefits of this improve your lung function, reduce stress and anxiety, can lower blood pressure, improve digestion, and promote better sleep. For some reason I cannot explain, the concept of belly breathing took me like a month to understand. I don't know why, because it's pretty self-explanatory. So, normally day to day, I feel like we just breathe with our, with our chest. You inhale, your chest rises, you exhale, it goes down. Belly breathing is just the same, but with your stomach. So if you put your hand on your belly, right, you breathe in through your nose, your belly should be expanding. And when you exhale, it should be going down. And the benefits of this is, at least for the vaginismus part, is it is supposed to help reduce stress and anxiety within your body and to really help you just fully relax, get a sense of serenity, I guess is the right word. But I feel like for me, it helps, um, especially when dilating. But you can definitely feel it when you are doing these stretches because when you exhale, you're supposed to. My PT explained it to me as you breathe in through your nose and you want to like visualize you're breathing out through your vagina, which sounds really weird, but when you visualize it, it's pretty crazy. At least I've noticed for me, it definitely helps me feel more relaxed and in control of my body. I know that probably looks like a weird image if you can imagine it in your head. So what I like to do is I would breathe in through my nose, and as I'd exhale, I'd like try to imagine like a flower blooming, I suppose, which sounds really cheesy, but it just made me feel more comfortable in my body. And, even though I was just practicing breathing, I'm working through this condition, I'm getting through it, and I'm growing, I'm blooming. It's very cheesy, I know, but it helped, okay? My PT said to continue doing these stretches and breathing just until I feel more comfortable, I guess, working with the dilators, which I'll talk about next. But I haven't been to PT in about maybe almost a year and a half now, and I still do these stretches and exercises. I should be doing them more, but I definitely work on the belly breathing the most. I find it the most helpful with my body and how I'm working through vaginismus. But if you find the stretches and the breathing working together to be the most beneficial for you, continue doing that. If you just find the breathing to be working, keep doing that. Find what's best for your body because I went to PT about once a week. I maybe went 5 times, mainly because it was just getting pretty expensive and I realized I could just be doing this stuff at home. But she did give me homework, and that was to do these stretches and the breathing and work on dilating, which I will be talking about. I know I keep saying it, but to do those not just with her, but at home as well. So find what's best for you, and whatever that is, stick with it. So, very briefly, my PT introduced me to dilators, and I'll just very quickly show you what those are because that is going to be the topic of my next video. So very briefly, these are unused. Oh my gosh, a pack of 4. These are silicone dilators. And she just introduced these to me, and these have been very life-changing for me in my journey to overcoming vaginismus. They have just helped gradually stretch out the muscles in my pelvic floor, helping me work towards a pain-free body. All right, now that I have spoken about all the important things I have learned from PT, that being the stretching, belly breathing, and the dilators, I'd like to just walk you through what one of my appointments looked like. The very first appointment I had was really nothing but just talking with my physical therapist, getting to know one another, asking about my medical history, if there's anything she should be concerned about besides the vaginismus. And that was basically the first appointment. And my boyfriend went with me. It was very nice to have him there. It made me feel less stressed. So if you have someone in your life who knows about what you're going through and you feel very comfortable around them, maybe ask if they could join you on your first appointment to make things just less stressful or anxiety inducing for you. But my second appointment, I went by myself, and she taught me all about the stretches, the belly breathing. We did some of those. Then she also taught me about a technique called labia rolling. So what labia rolling is when you take your pointer and your thumb and you just grab your labia majora between those 2 fingers, and you basically just roll your fingers like this, kind of just up and down, back and forth. And what this does, it increases blood flow to your vulva to help reduce pain. It's not going to solve the issue, but it will definitely help ease some tension in this area. So like I said before, attending PT is very, very hands-on. And if this is something you are not comfortable with, I believe there is a virtual PT. I am not sure any of the companies that this goes through, but I am in a community on Reddit of women who have vaginismus, and I saw this comment the other day about a virtual PT. So if you are uncomfortable with the idea of a physical therapist touching you like this, I would suggest the virtual. But if not, then the PT, my PT was the one to do the labia rolling on me, and also about every appointment I went to, she put a finger in, which I will talk about right now. So with her finger, we would do the labia rolling, we do the breathing exercises all before, and she would always make sure if this was something I wanted to do, or we could just do the stretches, in the other room. But most of the time I agreed to doing it. So basically what it was is she would put her finger in just very, very slowly. Most of the time it would only be about this deep, which is what we called level 1. And maybe about 2 or 3 times we got to here, down to this knuckle, which was level 2, just a deeper muscle, deeper tissue. But she would go in and just start what we called the clock method. So I drew out a quick diagram. I feel like this would be easier to explain. So once her finger was in, she would kind of just leave it there for a second so my body could adjust. I do my belly breathing, try my best to relax. The best I could. Having another woman's finger in my vagina was a little weird, gonna be honest. But once I could relax the best that I possibly could, she would start to move her finger in a clock, clockwise, I guess. So where it says 12 o'clock is up towards your pubic bone, and 6 o'clock is down towards your anus. So we kind of just start going clockwise, counterclockwise, I can't remember which. And each time she would stop, kind of put a little bit of pressure. I do my belly breathing, breathe through it until she could feel my muscles relax. We'd stay there for a little bit, and then she'd move to 1 o'clock, then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And as much as this was deeply uncomfortable at times, it's very, very cool to see the progress your body can make over such a short period of time. I use this method today with my dilating. It does wonders for me. I am now able to wear a tampon, which is humongous for me. That's so big. I've never been able to do that ever in my life up until about, last October, but now I can finally do it pretty comfortably. But I know this sounds very weird, but this is just what PT was like for me. I'm lucky enough I had a great physical therapist with me. Her name was Emily. Shout out, Emily, you are the best. We connected very well, and I'm just forever grateful for everything she taught me about my body, telling me that my body is normal, and helping me at the start of my vaginismus journey. So that is pretty much all I have for you guys about my PT experience. If you are thinking about attending pelvic floor physical therapy, I would say just give it a try. The only really, really bad thing about it is it's expensive. But I do think in the long run, even if you go to 3 or 4 appointments, it's just so great to learn from a professional like that, to learn more about your body, be introduced to these exercises, this belly breathing, and the dilators, the proper dilating techniques as well, and just hear about other women who have been through this same journey as you. So I know I always say I highly recommend this, but I really, really do, if this is something you are able to do at this time in your life. But thank you so much for watching my video. I hope I can post my dilating video soon. I know it has been a hot minute since I posted my second video. So hopefully in the next week or so, I can get that video uploaded to you guys. But in the meantime, Have a great day, have a great week, and I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.